Sometimes I feel like I am overstating the potential chaos and like insanity of like NBA trades and stuff like that. And then shit like this happens, and then I'm like, maybe I wasn't wrong about the NBA being completely batshit crazy. Um, yeah, still kind of in shock, but Luka Doncic traded for Anthony Davis and a first and Max Christie. Shut up, Max Christie.
Max
Um,
Chris.
but yeah, I mean, like, at this point, we're late covering this, but like when this shit happened, no one thought it was real. What were you? I mean, I just saw your reaction, but where were you, PJ, when this happened?
I was playing 2K. We're in the middle of a rec game. I was super locked in. I think I had like 3 shots in because we're drinking shots for whatever reason. I can't explain. But it was insane. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, this is sad for a lot of Lakers fans because AD was saying, like, maybe a couple of weeks ago, we just need one more person to make this a championship caliber team. Like, the fact that he was traded for Luka is just, it was really mind blowing at that time.
It still is. It still is for me. It's just
Because
crazy.
Luka's untouchable. I
I
thought
thought
the
he
Mavs would
was.
never.
I thought he was.
The the way how what's his name? Uh, I forgot his
The
name.
GM.
No, not the GM. The guy, Shark Tank man.
Oh, Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
way how he speaks about Luca in any type of
Oh,
way
of
is just
course.
like that man's untouchable.
Oh,
But
of
the
course.
GM thought otherwise.
Well, Mark Cuban sold his majority stake, so he's not in control anymore.
It's time. Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
He sold it. He is new. There's conspiracy theories we'll get to, but the new owners might have had a part in this. So you know, bro, I when this happened, I was like passing out on my bed. I was like, man, I might fall asleep at like 9 o'clock. And then I was scrolling Reddit. I saw a post that said, I pretty much said Anthony Davis traded for Luka Doncic, and I was like, that's not real. And I kept scrolling, and then I
Mm.
went to Twitter, and then the Shams tweet came up, and I was like, he got hacked. He got hacked. That's not
It
real.
has to. No way, bro.
And then, uh, and then there was the follow up tweet that was like, yes, this is real, and I was like, he could still be hacked. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That could have been the
exactly.
hacker still just saying, you know, this is real. And I was like, I don't think so. And
See,
then,
I called Joe like 3 minutes after me and my friends were playing. Well, while we were playing, and I'm like, "Yo, is this real? What do you think about this?" And he told me what he thought, and he's like, "Dude, ESPN posted it," and I was like, "Fuck,
mm-hmm,
real."
it is
If
it was
ESPN posted it, it's real.
ESPN, Bleacher Report. They sent out the notification that was like, that it was official. And then my dad texted me. He sent me a screenshot. He's a Laker fan. He sent me a screenshot and he was like, OMG, is this real? I was like, believe it or not, yes. I said the same thing. It is real. And he was like, oh my God, no way. I was like, yeah. So this shit blew everyone's mind. Obviously, it's fucking top top 5 at worst player in entering his prime. He's about to turn 26.
Yep.
Traded for Anthony Davis, who's about to turn 32, and a first round pick in like 2029, or is it
Yeah.
27? I think it's 29. It's like,
For yeah, it was a 29. I think
yeah,
Lakers still have their 27.
which is still crazy. Which is, I mean, there are so many things we could bring up right now about how this went down. I'm, for whatever reasons, and we could talk about it of what the reasons might be, but for whatever reasons, valid or invalid, whatever, that the GM might have had for trading Luca, the fact that this is the return he got for like what maybe the second or first most valuable player as like a franchise asset, it's like Luka, Wemby. You could throw Shea in there, and then like the old goats, I guess at this point, Jokic and Giannis. Those are like that's like the top tier of like assets in the league. And Luca went for Anthony Davis at a first. Mikal Bridges went for 5 firsts. Like what? Like I said, regardless of whatever reasoning the GM might have had for doing this, the fact that this is what he got is insane. And I know AD is worth like 3 first rounders, but the fact that they couldn't even get like Austin Reeves or don't connect even something more like, and the other
Something
first,
more.
I don't know, like what? Like I said, this guy literally took them to the finals last year. Last year.
Right.
It just
Right.
happened. There's no question marks about how good Luca is. And yet, apparently, according to reports, they were worried about his conditioning and they were scared to commit to paying him the supermax. Come on, man. Come on,
Yeah.
man. I mean, like, what do you even? It's legitimately like baffling. Like, I don't even know what to. I don't even know where to go from here. How do you feel it?
I mean, as much as I know a lot of guys that are my friends that are gonna shit on me for this, they're like, "Oh, PJ, you're not a Lakers fan. You're just a bandwagoner." I follow the Lakers because a lot of my friends are Lakers fans,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like it kind of breaks my heart. I've said it before in a clip. You may not show. You can clip that out. In a clip that you just reacted to, trading AD and Max Christie kind of breaks my heart because ever since the D'Lo trade, AD and D'Lo had AD and Max Christie had a lot of opportunities to score more buckets and win more for the team,
Yeah.
and they got traded for Luka, and Luka's a phenomenal player,
I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah.
but a young guy Max Christie and AD for playing the season right now is wow.
Hmm.
They didn't give up a lot, but they gave up a core piece to the LeBron, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I do think that is something that is pretty interesting to talk about. So the way the Mavs GM Nico Harrison described it, he said this is like for the Mavs, this is a win now move, and it also helps their future, which doesn't make sense to me for a couple reasons. One, it's not a win now team without Luca.
Not
Second, for the future, AD's 32, Kyrie's turning 32, Clay's fucking what, 30, 36? Not, probably not, like 34, something like that. There's no future. So, don't know why he did that. And, well, to him, he prefer he preferred the defense,
yeah,
which
I saw
is
that too.
he said defense
Defense
wins
over
champion.
offense.
Hey, he said defense wins championships, and they quite literally will have to win the championship to top what Luca did last year. Literally,
See,
that's the only way they can do better than Luca last year. They have to win the
right,
finals.
right,
That's the only way.
right.
So, hey man.
See, if I was looking at this and I was like, if this was a team 10 years ago, 100%, I'll say, yeah,
I mean, that's very
that's a
different, but yeah.
championship team.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now,
That's
where
very
all of
different.
them went through injuries, it's like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you get to see Davis play at the four, which is like his prime spot.
Yeah.
Because Gafford, really? I mean, if Derek Lively comes back, maybe.
Yeah.
But
It,
Gafford, really?
in an ideal world, it's lively. In an ideal world. Yeah, it's just so strange. The trade is just, every time I think about it, I'm just like, man, this just really doesn't make sense to me.
So, for me, when I thought about it, this is the trade of the century for sure.
Bro, this is
I
the
can't think
great.
about
Oh, go
I
ahead,
can't
go
think
ahead.
about any trade that's bigger than this unless there's only one in my mind that's equivalent. But I needed to hear your thoughts about that.
I think this is by far at an NBA history, 100% the most insane trade ever.
Right.
100%. The last one, shout out to B-Ball Breakdown on Twitter. He said it's the biggest trade since Kareem.
Oh shit. It's okay.
Which,
I was thinking about a different one, but
go ahead, what you got?
the one that came to mind that's I guess you can be like, oh damn, this might be a force of nature, or it could be like, well, during the time it was a force of nature because over time it was like it went downhill because the way how the team was playing, and we didn't,
Mm.
it wasn't like that till now. Um, the Dame and Giannis, and then you got traded away Drew Holiday to the Celtics, and then whatever went to Portland.
This is literally that, except the players are like noticeably better,
Right,
significantly better. Like
right,
if Dame is, I mean, even the player archetypes are like almost 1 to 1 in terms
right,
of like, Dame and Luca are the, offensive powerhouses. Drew is like, big on defense and he would
right,
give you something on offense. And then AD
right.
is like the super souped up, one of the best players to never win DPOY. Like, I just feel like this, and even with all that being said, the return, the return for Drew or Dame, whichever for Dame, insane. They still
Right,
got every first round pick available, every
right,
swap available, and they
right,
got their player. So,
right,
and I know the situations are different just because of the situation on the teams. But the fact that a consensus top 5 player in the league
right,
got traded at all,
right,
even regardless of even what they got for him, even that out of the question. You know, the thing that came to mind, this is what I thought would happen to Zion first. The way that they were talking about Luca, they're like, we're sort of worried about his conditioning. We don't want to pay it. We're so worried about that. Like, this should have happened to Zion first.
right.
This, if we're talking about, like face of the franchise, like we're trying to get something before it's too late. Do that with him. You were
They
talking
should
about.
have done.
I was saying Joel Embiid's never going to get traded because I
Right,
thought he was too good of a player. Luca just got traded.
right.
So we did anything got like that. That's what was tripping me out. Where it was like, I just thought I would never see Luca get traded in general. And then now we're here and I'm like, oh fuck. I guess it could happen to anybody, even though I'm still hesitant to believe it can happen to like Joel Embiid.
I
Like,
guess the quote
but
at the
like,
end of the day would be like, NBA is just a business.
oh,
That would be the
100%. Yeah,
quote.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be the
Absolutely.
quote at the end of the day.
Yeah. And the one of the conspiracy theories that may or may not, you know, come to come to light. We might the true reasoning behind this may never come to light, but uh there are rumors, I don't know. The word is that the new owners of the Mavs are very cheap and they did not want
Uh,
to pay Luca his $345 million supermax. So they were like, "Hey man, why don't you just get rid of that guy? Trade that guy for something." So
they're not that smart.
whether that's true or not, we'll probably never know. And obviously, the Mavs GM is going to come out and say that's why Luca got traded. So he's giving all his basketball reasons for why he made the trade when it doesn't really make sense. So, but the thing that tripped me out, because obviously everybody was saying, fire this GM now.
Right.
But if the ownership signed off on it, if they approved it, then you know they had some part in it, so they aren't going to fire him because they said okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he would have been fired. If he did this without ownership permission, he definitely would have been fired. Like already, like it would have been done deal. But it is weird though that the same GM potentially, I mean, we're assuming that he was the one making the decisions that last year traded for PJ Washington, Gafford, and like did these trades, drafted Derek Lively. That same GM that made those moves that helped them get to the finals
Right,
immediately
right.
is the same GM that did this. There's no way. There's no way. And I know one of the people on staff left for Detroit. If that one guy was doing everything, props to him. But it blows my mind that the same guy that everyone was like, man, props to this guy, did all the trades. He pulled the trigger on all these players from like the Hornets, the Wizards. Like he saw the value, saw the potential, and they went to the finals because of it. And now he does this. It's insane, man. It's insane. It's just I don't even know. I'm still in shock. Like I still can't believe it. Once I see them in uniform, it'll hit me.
It's gonna be super weird.
I know.
I think Davis, I could see in navy blue. He played in navy blue before, but like Luka in purple and gold is just
That's gonna be so weird. Let's talk about the Lakers. We mostly talked about the Mavs. So you did mention
wait.
that
What would you grade this trade
for both teams.
for the Mavs? Since we
Okay,
spoke
so
about the
for
Mavs a bit.
straight up, it's an F. I don't care. It's an F. Regardless of what they got back, and I don't believe in their reasoning for doing the trade. If they really wanted to move off Luca, sure, but I don't think it makes much sense to give up on him like this.
Right,
And for that reason alone, I'm giving them an F because he is the player that literally just carried them to the finals on like one leg. So,
right.
regardless, I'm giving them an F. But if they really wanted to move off Luca and this is like really like there was no other way out, they have a D. You get a D.
I'm gonna be respectful with my grade. I'm gonna give them a B just because they got some assets. They got an asset that helped them win a championship. The Lakers win a championship, and I feel like he feels in a role where they need a defensive protector since Lively is out. Um, it kind of works out for the team because now Luca doesn't. Now Kyrie doesn't have to share the ball. He can drop it down to AD, Mr. Rim Protector. Um, I mean that's it. Like I feel like it kind of works out in a sense. If I want to be respectful, but like for you,
I'm
I
not.
would give them an F as well. I'd give them an F as well just because, dude,
I'm
this
not
is Luca.
respectful. And
This is
yeah,
Luca.
no,
This is
you're right.
top. He was always an MVP caliber for every other year,
I
for every
know.
single year.
He literally
And it's like
has.
you're gonna give up an MVP caliber player. I mean, AD is respected, and he could be an MVP caliber player, but I'd see him as more of a DPOY
That
caliber
ship,
player.
that ship has sailed, unfortunately for him. He could have been, but that ship is. He won't be in that conversation anytime soon. But
In a sense, it's a bad trade because all that team is full of people made of glass. Kyrie
yeah,
gets injured, Clay gets injured, AD definitely gets injured, and he is injured right now.
yeah. And one of the last things I'll say for excuse me for Luca in this case and why it's still so baffling if they traded him. He literally for a 25-year-old, he has one of the absolute best postseason starts of anybody's career.
Right,
His stats in the postseason are absurd, and he just took this team to the finals. They've been in the Western Conference Finals before Knicks, Jalen Brunson, and a bunch of bums.
right.
Like he's been doing this. This isn't a Joel Embiid situation where it's like I can't rely on him in the playoffs. Like this is like he's been the guy. He's proven he's been the guy, even with the so-called conditioning issues, which sure might be true, but like you're not gonna pay him because you're worried he might not figure it out when he's not even 26 yet. He's turning 26. He's
Turning.
literally about to enter his prime. Like
Right.
right, and if it wasn't his prime already, if his prime didn't start earlier, when he's already dropping 30 points and like fucking over 30 points, like triple double threat every night, like
Right.
that, if that's not his prime, if we're still looking to get better on like defense, his conditioning, whatever, then like you just traded him away right now? Like, ugh, it's fucking insane. Anyways, so the team that does have Luka now, the Lakers. You mentioned that you were sad Max Christie's gone and Anthony Davis
You're right.
because they were, these were,
They were doing really well when D'Lo had left, and
yeah,
there's more open opportunities for Max Christie because he became a starter.
mm-hmm, yeah, and I think I think that this is the opposite of a win now move for the Lakers. I think
It
this
could
is
be the
them.
opposite.
This is the signal that they're ready for Braun to retire, and they're like, we have the face of the franchise now.
I don't think they're ready for. It's more, yeah, they are ready, but not saying that they want Braun to
Oh no,
retire.
no,
But
yeah, no. I just
it's more of like once Braun retires, we have this guy.
right, yeah, yeah. Like this wasn't a move for them to be like, this is gonna put us over this year. Like we're gonna win because of this move right now. This is
Right? They
like,
win in all type of ways.
yeah, this is like once LeBron's out, we don't have to worry about finding the next piece. Like we already have the guy we're building around next. So
Right.
that, because I know, I think we could bring it up now if you want to read Joe's thing from a basketball perspective.
I was gonna say I was reading a comment earlier today, like it's like AD talking to Rob Pelinka, and it's like Rob Pelinka's like, oh no, it's AD's like asking Rob Pelinka, oh, is it possible we could find a center?
Oh yeah, yeah.
'Cause I play way better at the four, and then Rob Pelinka's like, do you like Derek Lively or Gafford on your team? He's like, oh yeah, definitely, anything. And he's like, all right, pack your bags, we're gonna play with those guys.
That'd be funny as shit.
I saw that and I was like, that's crazy.
That'd be so
It's a
funny,
crazy.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. The reason I want to bring up Joe's thing is because uh if we are, you already mentioned it, but as a fit, they aren't LeBron and Luca aren't like, it's not perfect, obviously. And now the team that already needed a big man just traded away a big man.
Mm-hmm.
So now they need another one. Which is
Right.
why I kind of just feel like this year isn't like this isn't them saying we're making a championship run with this trade. This is them being like, all right, we have the future now. Like we don't
Right.
have to worry when LeBron retires. It's
Right.
literally like that meme of Colin Cowherd where he's like, "Hey LeBron, we have Ben Simmons. We're good." that shit. Have you seen that? That's the
Yeah.
Lakers. That's the Lakers right now, except they have Luca. They're like, you know, we're good. Like you can go, LeBron. Like we'll be set. Like it's okay. Well, that's kind of why I wanted to bring up Joe's thing because he does talk about the fit. Um, I'm curious how you feel about it because I think I have thoughts about the fit myself, but I think it'll be better if I just go off of what Joe said and then
Let's go off what Joe said. I read a tiny bit. I told Joe myself that I'm gonna be blind by this because I'd rather react to it on the pod.
it's a bit. I'll try to get through it quickly because
Okay.
he wrote a decent amount. There you go. This is from Joe. He was in our draft, however long ago that was, our all-time draft. Yeah, I think the Luca and Braun pairing is equally good and bad. Here's the good: elite ball vision and scoring from both. Doncic gives the Lakers comfort in knowing he can hit a game winner if they need it. So I'm gonna take the load off Braun. Pause. He literally wrote that in. So I want to take the load off Braun on the offensive side, so Braun doesn't need to worry about playing point. The bad. They're both ball dominant, so it'd be tough to see who adjusts to playing off ball. Losing AD as a two-way big is a tough blow because Luka doesn't offer anything defensively. Lakers were already in need of a reliable big who wasn't AD. Overall, excited to see both teams potentially meeting in the playoffs. Mavs, on the other hand, AD and Gafford frontcourt is a scary sight for offenses. They could run a lineup of Kyrie, Clay, PJ, AD, and then Gafford Lively. AD, Kyrie, and Clay already in their 30s, so I don't see them being a competitive big three that would last as long. But as of right now, they could potentially make it back to the finals again this year, even without Luka.
Ooh.
Where do you want to go with? Where do you want to go first?
I mean, he's right. Basically, what I said. They're
Yeah.
more of a defense liability. I've been reading a lot of posts about what JJ Redick had wanted for LeBron. He wanted to play off ball at the beginning of the season.
Hmm,
I think he could still play off ball. But
for
when he
sure.
gets the ball to Luca, I'm expecting a lob. I'm expecting a cut to a basket. I'm expecting a lot of things. But obviously, I need to see them play together on court. LeBron had stated in the past one day he wants to play with Luca.
Hmm,
That's the guy he wants to play with. So I'm expecting a lot.
yeah.
Just because you get the quote unquote greatest of all time, because he's not the greatest of all time to some people,
Right. Yeah.
and you get the one of the greatest players to play in the NBA today.
Absolutely. And
So
offensively, I'm not worried at all, really. Like people were worried that Harden and CP3 wouldn't work because they were both quote unquote ball dominant guards, and they almost beat the fucking Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. They made it work. When two guys just have an understanding of how to run an offense and they understand what makes the offense run, it'll work. The ball will always be in the hands of somebody that knows what they're doing. So
right,
I'm not worried on the offensive end, especially if you have Luka. He's made offenses work with nothing. And now he has LeBron, who also has made offenses work with nothing. So on that end, we're good. On the defensive end, as has already been said, it's a problem. So we'll have to see. I'm assuming they're going to make another move before the trade deadline, just so they're not suffering the rest of the season. Um, so we'll see what happens there. But for the Mavs, though, I have heard and seen some people saying that obviously the Kyrie, AD, Clay, that like they could be really good and they could, make some noise in the playoffs. As I already said before, if they don't win the finals, they did worse than Luka. But to be honest, I feel like this is just gonna end up being like a play-in team, like 7, 8 seed, and then they're gonna lose to like the Thunder. That's how I see it,
I feel
personally.
like at the end of the day, it depends on how it comes out because I know we're talking about Luca and okay.
I'll go ahead. It's my bad.
At the end of the day, it depends on what what the playoffs looks like. Because I know right now we're talking about Luca and AD, but today we got another trade that could potentially be either a playing team or
Well,
nothing. But at the
I
but what I'm gonna
go
go
ahead.
with right now is that I could see them being a 6 seed, and they could play like the Clippers or something, or the Lakers. Um, it depends where they end up. Uh, the team, like Joe said, the team could be a scary sight with AD. I'm gonna say lively because I don't think Gafford's not that scary.
I think meant on the
My
defensive end. I don't think I think he just said for opposing offenses. AD plus Gafford is pretty scary.
like I could see Gafford as a stretch, but seeing
Hmm.
him play throughout his years, the Wizards, the Bulls, and Mavericks last year, Lively's the guy
I
that's
mean, yeah,
for sure gonna be the fifth.
yeah, but Gafford, you know, on defense at least, I would putting him next to AD is kind of crazy. Um, I not to just completely factor out Clay because that's not fair.
I'm not factoring
He's
him out.
obviously not the same Clay.
He's not
Obviously.
the same Clay, but I'm not gonna discredit his game where he made 10 threes in the first quarter.
No, well, okay, well that's I
That's
mean,
I was
you're
thinking it was kind of absurd,
brother,
but
we are turning things back on that one. I mean, the odds I just feel like when it comes playoff time, and that's when weaknesses are exploited the most.
right.
Having Kyrie Clay, old Clay, as your backcourt is a little bit iffy because even though they have AD now to score in the post, the only person who could create a shot
Kyrie.
on that team is Kyrie. He's the only one.
Right.
No one else is gonna run that offense either. It's just Kyrie. And to be quite honest and frank, he has not had the best playoff experiences in general since he left Cleveland. He hasn't had very many good games since the finals win, if we're going to be
Right.
honest here. He had some good games.
He had
In
some. He had a couple.
He had some last year, but he also had some bad ones. And now he won't have Luka, who is like free offense. You won't have Luka. And not to say, obviously, AD's not bad. That's obviously, I'm not discrediting him at all. But offensively, Luka is in a tier maybe with just Jokic. Maybe. Like, it might just be those two alone, offensively speaking. So, like I said, no disrespect to AD, but he's not Luka on offense. They just do completely different things, and the things Luka did are not replaceable. Which is
Right.
why I feel like come playoff time, I'm not very optimistic. And
I get that.
knock on wood, I don't wish injuries on anybody.
No.
But this team, as we said, is made of glass.
Right.
All three of those players are made of glass. So they're going to have to survive the regular season and into the postseason. And very likely will be playing one of the top seeds of the West. So I would not be surprised if this team lost in the first round. That's all. The West is fucking strong, man.
The West,
The West is fucking
even
strong.
even if it's the same like conference trade, it's still fucking strong.
Oh, I mean, it's
I want to
crazy.
see what the Lakers do now. Like
Yeah, I think
apparently they're looking for athletic center. The only one that could come to mind. Do you know who would that be?
I'm trying to think of who's available. Um, I don't
There's
know.
one center that I know. He's on his last year of his contract.
Who is it? Go ahead.
Clint Capella from the Atlanta
Oh
Hawks.
right, yeah, I did hear about that.
He's the only center that I could think that he's athletic. Well, in his Houston Rocket years, that's when he was good
Mm.
to me. But
Yeah,
like they're looking for athletic center and who could be an interior threat.
yeah.
And Clint Capella's, I think, the perfect guy for what the Lakers are looking for.
Yeah,
People were saying the Lakers are trying to get Walker Kessler or Miles Turner, but those two guys aren't athletic. Walker Kessler to me is like an Andre Drummond, but like a tier lower.
and Danny Ainge is hostaging him too. He's not going to trade him until he
No,
gets until he gets the fucking barn, brother.
right. And
He's
I'm
hostaging.
trying to think of other centers that fit that category. There's some centers that probably do like Yves Missy, but that's his rookie year.
Yeah, they're not trading him. That team is a whole another issue, all on their own. They got problems over there, brother. Did you want
I
to
mean, if you want to,
say anything about the De'Aaron Fox Zach Levine trade?
my prediction for that is if it gets better with Zach Levine and DeMar DeRozan reuniting back together,
Reunited, yes. the Bulls
In
of
a
the West.
sense, it depends if they play like 2020 with Domantas Sabonis being that guy to get triple doubles and being a high IQ player. Potentially, they can make the play-in or a sixth seed in playoff.
I think
Potentially,
playing's realistic. It's possible. They're like right there.
they're
Um,
they're literally at 10th seed. I
yeah,
think the last time I checked, but
yeah. I think they could. I not that I think they'll go any farther than that, but they could, and that would be cool.
does
Th-
that?
Go
Uh,
ahead.
sorry to cut you
No,
off,
go ahead.
but
Go ahead.
like, does CP3 get his starting spot taken away from De'Aaron spot? Fox.
That is a good question. I have thought about it. I feel like I don't know. Me personally, I would want CP3 playing as much as
Right.
possible, just because I
They've been
trust
playing good.
him infinitely more as a playmaker and like
They've
the
been playing way
person
good.
as a person that runs the offense. I trust him way more than I trust De'Aaron Fox personally. But I mean, it's cool though. I think this team could definitely make a play and run. Just because Fox gives them that burst, that scoring, you know, something that the team was like kind of missing. They don't have any like super impressive scores, I guess, outside of the freak.
Right.
Um,
But if De'Aaron Fox blossoms and they still give CP3 that spot, would that take away from Stephon Castle or Stephen Castle,
I mean,
whatever?
he's gonna lose minutes regardless because they just added a player that's like proven to be like at least good, and he plays like the same position. It's like he's gonna lose minutes regardless, but I feel like there's a chance they could play next to each other. I don't know how good it would be. I assume we'll see some of that, just as like even as just like an experiment, because I don't think
I'm
either of them are like particularly good 3-point shooters,
right.
which is a little bit of a problem. But they're both kind of speedy, athletic, so it'd be kind of cool. I don't know. It's a different dynamic.
I'm gonna make a prediction.
Go ahead.
They have Devin Vasil on that team.
Yeah,
Potentially, there could be a trade happening
that'd be cool.
because he is. I think he just signed him a rookie extension or a max contract from last
I'm
offseason.
not sure.
Potentially, they move him to a new team so they can add one more piece in, so they can try to run for a championship next
Hmm.
year or in 2 years from now. Just wanted to
That
shout
that
that out.
that is something that surprised me is that the Spurs didn't really give up any. They
Like
didn't give a
caliber players.
yeah they didn't give up Vassell or Keldon Johnson, which I thought was interesting.
Right. They gave up Trey Jones
Yeah,
and Zach Collins.
yeah. Like I said,
So
which
I
I just
think
thought
the
was interesting.
Bulls' next move is gonna have to trade Vucevic.
Hmm.
Vucevic is still a talented player. He could be playing for a championship worthy team or playoff worthy team. It's possible.
Yeah, I assume he's gonna get traded just since they finally pulled the trigger on Zach LaVine.
Right.
Just full send the rebuild. Like, so
I
if someone will take Vooch for something,
the
get some.
Warriors.
Maybe, I mean, we'll see.
Apparently the Warriors was trying to get Jimmy Butler, but
Oh yeah,
Jimmy Butler declined. Speaking about the
did
Warriors,
Jimmy? Yeah.
the
Speaking
Jimmy
of Jimmy,
sweepstakes.
speaking of Jimmy, bro, he really might get traded for a second rounder and
Yeah,
a
and
bench
then
player. Like the fact that he hasn't been traded yet just tells me that nobody wants him, and the Heat are trying desperately to get somebody to trade for him. But at this point, I have no idea who even wants him. I have no idea who would even like bother trying, unless it literally is for like scraps. like literally a bag of potato chips. Like,
Pelicans, Wizards, make your mark.
no,
Do it.
that there's no reason to do it.
Pelicans?
No, no, their season's already over, man.
Exactly.
So why would you waste an asset on Jimmy Butler, even if it's nothing?
I've I've said that before.
It's
They
nothing
can
for
do it.
nothing. You may as well just
It's
keep the
nothing.
other nothing. I don't see the point.
I mean, it could be a revenge.
No. I really hope it's not a some shit tier bottom team that trades for
I
Jimmy.
mean, apparently, my dream was for Jimmy to go to the Hawks, and the Heat wants Bogdan Bogdanovic.
What the fuck?
Can't say his last
What
name.
the hell's wrong
I
with you?
gotta look at. I gotta look at, bro. I gotta look at the NBA fucking page to look at his last name. It's Bogdanovich or some shit
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
Bog. Yeah, just call him. I just call him Bogdan. I just
Oh, it's
Bogdan.
Bogey now.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I hope it. I hope it's not some. I hope it's some team that's at least trying to win this year. At least, because otherwise you're just wasting your time. All right, well, by the time this gets uploaded, another trade might happen, and
Potentially.
we'll be outdated already. But shit happens in the NBA. When is the trade deadline exactly? I know it's like
On
literally
the
like
6th,
yeah, it's like I know it's literally in a few days.
4 days from now.
If something else happens, we'll be here. Obviously, Jimmy Butler, we're looking at you.
Hmm.
Uh, we'll see who else gets moved. I don't know. I don't know if there's any other big names. But we
Before
didn't
we end
even.
it off, do you think who else do you think is gonna get traded?
Well, I was about to say we didn't even know Luka was on the fucking trade block.
Trading block. Yeah.
So it could be anybody. Um, it would be. I am mostly just curious to see what other moves, like you said, the Spurs might make, the Lakers are gonna do.
Hmm.
Bucks reportedly are trying to make a move. I don't know for who.
Who's Vic?
There was hopes that it was gonna be Zach Levine, but he's gone now. It was like kind of like a shot in the dark, anyways, but it's a
Right.
possibility. I would be surprised if Bradley Beal got moved. I have no idea who actually wants Bradley Beal, but yeah, I'm kind of just ready for. Well, I'm not ready for anything apparently because I was not ready for this for Luca for AD, but I think at this point I won't be too shocked by anything that'll happen. I think we've already peaked. So I think now we're kind of on the decline of like, okay, like that's a cool move. Like
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
So I think even if something else happens soon, I don't think it'll be anything too crazy. So yeah, I think that's all I got. Um,
I mean, what I gotta say is obviously I've been throwing his name, Vucevic, 100%. I believe will get traded soon. They got 4 centers now, if you want to count Jalen Smith as a center, because he was a center on the Pacers. Um, Vucevic might be traded. Lonzo Ball, I feel like might get traded too, because they have 9 guards in total now,
hurt.
which is crazy to me.
They'll figure it out.
If the Bulls play fucking Kobe White as a forward, what you doing? Um, there's other guys out there. Those two, I'm a Bulls fan. I know those two. I don't know
Yeah,
them personally, but I really follow Lonzo Ball because I watch his
not
podcast. Shout out
personally.
to them.
Yeah,
Uh,
it'd be cool to see Alonzo on a contender. That'd be fun.
used to be.
Yeah, I'd like to
No,
see him on like a playoff team. That'd be really cool.
that'd be awesome.
Um, yeah, I think that'll do it. Like I said, we'll be back if anything happens. Did not think we were gonna have to do an emergency pod about Luka Doncic getting traded,
That
but
could have been yesterday. Could have been. That's
yeah,
my bad. But
it's okay.
could
No worries. I mean,
have.
holy fuck. yeah. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe. Check out our last video. We watched a video about a LeBron debate. Um, shout out to highlights again. Anyways, the Super Soul Podcast. I'm Jacob. This is PJ over here. We will see you soon. Shout out Luka. Shout out Kai Soto. Shout out Jared McCain. Peace out, y'all.